Hello and welcome to Vigdis Daughter's Mystical Musings. This is my channel. I'm Vigdis Daughter. Or if that's a little too difficult to pronounce, by all means call me Erin. That is just fine. My channel is going to be about witchcraft and magic and also your personal spiritual path, whether that involves religion or not. All these things are intermingled to one extent or another, but it's up to you and your path how that looks and how much intermingling there is. I want this channel to be for people who are starting out, who don't know where to turn, are feeling very overwhelmed, and who want to have a starting point. Now, I need you to understand that everything I present here is part of my path. They're things that I have found to work. They are not the only options out there. And by all means, explore all options. If something I say doesn't make sense to you, you are absolutely welcome to question it and put it in the comments. I'll see if I can address it in the next video. I will try to cover any subjects that you might have an interest in. Again, let me know. I am not all-knowing, so there are going to be subjects that I cannot answer. Anything to do with ceremonial magic, not my monkey, not my circus. However, I do have a very good friend. His name is David Zunker, and you can find links in the About section of this channel to him. And he is amazing with ceremonial, astrology, Kabbalah, all that sort of stuff. That's really not my ball of wax, and I won't even pretend I know what I'm doing. My ball of wax is very basic stuff. I do energy work. I use natural substances such as rocks, or some herbs. I don't use many herbs because I have very little sense of smell. So using herbs makes me nervous. If you want to use herbs, go for it. If you want to use candles, go for it. I don't use candles because I have cats and the smell of burnt whiskers is pretty horrific. So, no candles here. There are a gazillion workarounds for everything. I don't use candles. Ooh, okay, well, how do I then have a representation of fire? Lava rock. Oh, you very rarely use incense, don't you, Vigdis Daughter? Well, yes, that is true. Again, cats. Incense can be really hard on a pet's respiratory system. So if you're going to use it, make sure you are in a well-ventilated area, not an enclosed space, and absolutely not an enclosed space with animals. And if you want to avoid incense altogether the way I do, feathers are wonderful. They're great. They do the job. You don't have to run out and buy all the expensive tools. You can. I mean, if you have the money, go for it. Don't put yourself into financial straits for tools. Don't do it. Witchcraft is the craft of peasantry. It was the resort of people who had no economic or social status to get results through normal means. These are people who didn't have money to have a special knife or a special plate or a special robe to do all their magic stuff. Pragmatism is the key word for witchcraft. If it's going to cost you $200 to put together that spell in that nice book you found, don't do it. Seriously, don't do it. Instead, look at what you have on hand. In fact, one of the best ways to learn how to put together spells is to look at what you've got around the house and think about how it could be used in a working. That is an awesome way to do it. I mean, I have chalk. What are you going to do with chalk? You can draw sigils. You can draw boundaries. You can draw a circle to work in so you know what your working space is defined as. You can do anything your imagination comes up with. You will hear a lot of people say, intent is everything. No. Intent is step one. Intent is wonderful. But if you don't actually do and follow through on your intent is useless. Absolutely 100% useless. I don't care that you intend to bake a cake. If that oven is not turned on and those ingredients are not mixed and put into the cake pan, it's not happening. I really can't stress that enough. And for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to get through to a lot of people. A lot of people they don't want witchcraft. They want wishcraft. They want to think good thoughts and have the universe hand everything to them. It's not how it works. The point of witchcraft, the point of all magic, is to make something happen. It is being done by means not understood by Western science. Honestly, I think given time, science will understand it. But right now it doesn't. And those means are usually energy work, which is another basic thing and something that I do a lot. Energy work is sensing, raising, and directing energy to accomplish a goal, something that you want to have happen. So, for example, basic energy work would be a glamoury on my car when I park in a sketchy part of town. I put a glamoury on the car. I raise energy to surround the car. I then fix the energy to the car. And I program that energy so that if someone's looking at my car with malintent, their eyes are just going to slide right over. This is very basic spell work. It's called a glamoury. And you're more than welcome to Google that. When you do spell work, you need to figure out how you get from point A to point B to point C. Where's your terminus? What is the end result? What does successful casting look like for that spell? These are things that you need to define for yourself. If you do a spell and you have absolutely no idea what success looks like, how are you going to know that it worked? So if you're doing a financial spell and you need to have $100 by the end of the month, there you go. That's where your successful working is. You have an extra $100 outside of normal means that arrives by the end of the month. There you go. It's not hard. It's really not hard to figure out what you want to have happen and what success looks like. But so many people don't put in the time to figure out what success looks like. I've been on so many groups on the internet and people are asking, I did a spell. How do I know it worked? At that point, I wanted to reach through and throttle them. I really do. I really do. Because we're adults. And part of being an adult is saying, this is what I'm doing. Knowing to the core of your being, this is what is going to happen. If you don't know what's going to happen, you're not even going to get anywhere close. It's just not going to work. Again, we go back to intent. if your intent doesn't include the working, then why would your intent go anywhere? It should be self-explanatory. It should be very simple, and for whatever reason, it's not. Okay. So, energy work can also be used for a number of other things, including healing modalities. Reiki comes to mind. I was actually trained in pranic energy work, which I enjoy a lot more than Reiki because it's not simply being a conduit for energy, it's being an active participant. Again, feel free to Google those too. Energy work can be a lot of fun. You can make chi balls. You can throw those chi balls at each other. I spent an evening with my dojo and our hostel playing chi ball dodgeball. That was actually a lot of fun. We all very carefully stopped when someone who wasn't part of our group had to go through because that would just be rude as fuck. What else? I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head right now. So I think I will end this video here, and I will see if I can come up with a subject for Thursday. If you have something that you would like me to cover, by all means, put it in the comments, and we'll see if I get to it. If I don't get to your idea, don't worry, it's probably going to be added to the list. There are just certain things that need to come first. Otherwise, you will find that the explanation doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one, folks.